You've heard it before, you can't judge a book by its cover.
With 4, Dawson will drive to the rim, gets up, it's good with 1.5 left. John Dawson wins it for Liberty.
You just looked at John Dawson, he's strong, you know, he's got a physical appearance about him that would look hard and rough around the edges.
Goes up, layup, good! Oh! Spins around, Houdini!
But boy, if you open up that book, the chapters and the stories would really bring a warming to your heart. There's a lot of guys on our team that are special, but man, that dude's got something.
Hungry?
Oh yeah, come on.
And humble.
My fault, Blue.
2 things that drive Liberty basketball's leader in scoring, assists, and rebounds. 2 things he learned from his family back home in Clovis, New Mexico.
Go eat, but be grateful, be thankful. And if you see somebody along the way that needs to eat too, give them some. Gotta stay humble and hungry.
At 2 years old, John Dawson's father first introduced him to basketball.
We bought him the hoop, and one day he couldn't make it for anything. He just kept shooting, and he's crying. I just, honey, I said, let him shoot. And he shot and shot. I thought he would get tired. He shot and shot to the point we went to sleep. He was in our room. And when we woke up in the morning, he had dry tears on his face, and he was just hugging a basketball laying down at the foot of the door. And I'll never forget that story.
By 18, he had offers from nearly 51 Division I schools from around the country.
You can never really be perfect in basketball. Like, there's not a perfect game you can have in basketball. There's always something in basketball you have to get better at. I like the challenge of that.
But to fully understand John Dawson, first, you have to meet the family, the whole family.
Everybody came through. It was my friends, my older brothers, sisters, friends, cousins. I mean, anytime somebody came to town, our house was the first house to hit. It was probably about 15 to 20 people there daily.
But even after the visitors left, the Dawson house stayed full.
We have 5 wrong, and we've adopted 6 and fostered at least 15. Sometimes it was a child somebody brought by the church. Sometimes it was a mother going through some kind of stress and the state was coming in to take them. It was bread and water some days, you know, but as long as they would eat.
Your dad told me at one time there was 8 kids in the house. What was that like?
It was crowded. We had 4 of us in my room, and we had like 2 sleep on the bed, and there's like a little pull-out bed, 2 sleep in that bed. Cereal's always gone. We only had 2 bathrooms. We could only use the kids' bathroom. And it's like being with your teammates all day, sleeping in the dorm, just put it that way. It's just, you're always having a good time, but it is pretty cramped.
It was here that John learned selflessness and sacrifice, traits that would one day guide him onto a much bigger stage.
No bike of his own, no going to the roller skating rink, and not having his own room, and never complain about it.
With our family, it was like, all right, let the little ones eat first, big ones get theirs last, or how can I help you get your stuff done? It was always servanthood in the family, and that's been a huge key in my life, having each other's back, not letting each other fail, that type of stuff. That was real big for us.
As John was finalizing his decision to transfer from Marquette to Liberty, tragedy struck the Dawson house.
When they brought me in, the only thing they would ask me is, do you have a will? They kept saying that. Every doctor said, do you have a will?
Pneumonia and heart failure would keep John's father in the ICU for 12 days. He would then be bedridden for another 9 months.
When I heard my dad couldn't move, when I heard my dad was in the hospital, couldn't leave, I was really debating on whether I should leave and go home and just say, Mom, I'm here to help. I'm not going to go to college anymore.
He was looking for things around the area, like a job or something to get into. And no matter who was calling, wanting to become polite. That's the biggest thing that touches me about him, is because all my life is teaching him. I didn't see what we were teaching him, and he showed me that he got it.
My biggest worry is not my dad being sick, because I know he's going to be all right. That's in God's hands. It's my mom taking on all the kids by herself, but she told me I stay. My dad told me I stay, and I tried to do anything I could to help.
At Liberty, John wasn't alone. His new coach had suffered the loss of his own father and was eager to help.
I can identify with that. And again, my heart breaks for John and what he's been through, but God's sovereign. You know, that the willingness to want to bear that responsibility, again, speaks to his character. But God's more capable than we are of taking care of his children.
When he first came in, he was like, I'm not going to let you leave, because second coach switch in college basketball for me, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to just go home and help my mom. And he was like, your mom and dad are fine, that's not up to you. And he was just a constant reminder of it's in God's hands.
As John's father began to recover, his faith was tested again. This time on the court, when he was forced to sit out a year because of the transfer rule. So he did the only thing he knew to do.
You folded towels for your teammates, you brought them water, all while you're waiting to become eligible. Why?
I mean, I had to earn their respect. I had to show them that I'm here, not only to play, but to be their brother and be accepted in the family. If you help them out, then they'll have your back because they know I have theirs.
He's that kind of guy. He's there for his family, and he couldn't be on the court, so he was just doing whatever he could. And so, like, those little things that nobody noticed goes into us winning games.
You know, for as talented, as gifted, as blessed as he is athletically, to have a spirit of humility, a team-first mindset that he has is special. If you were to evaluate our ascension, he's accelerated it because of his example.
While fans see John Dawson as the flame who lights up the court,
Left wing Dawson puts it up, blindfolded, overcooks, and it got it to go with a foul.
his team sees his servant.
He definitely does have that type of presence. Everybody looks up to him and respects him a lot.
Hungry and humble.
You know, that kid, it makes me smile to think of him because he could score 40, and if our team doesn't win, he'll wear it all over his sleeve. He won't want to hear about how well he played. He'll just want to be there for his teammates and take the ownership. I could have done more.
All you have to do is look under the cover.
He crosses cultures, ethnicities. Being around John Dawson makes me a better man.